Welcome to RotoGrinders Today. I'm Jordan Cooper, aka BlenderHD, BlenderHD. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's Monday, January 1st, 2024. Happy New Year. Does anything change? No, nothing changes. We just keep on going here, right? Typically on Mondays, because of the alliteration, we'd have Mondays with McCool, but James is under the weather today. Him and his kid are sick, right? Not hungover, right? Once you get to a certain age, you don't care about the New Year's, when the ball drops, going out, doing anything. Me and my wife were watching we're watching the show The Bear. It was some cooking comedy, whatever show. We were watching that on Hulu most of the night, and then it just happens. I look at the cable box, and it's like 11:59 to 12 o'clock, and I look at Happy New Year, and Happy New Year, and then we went to sleep about a half an hour later. Who cares? Doesn't matter. Normal Sunday. It doesn't matter. I'm 44 years old. Don't care anymore. When I was a teenager, it's like, oh, we get to stay up late. And what? Oh, look at Times Square. That type. Nah, you get to a point where it's like most people at over 40 years old have fall asleep. They're asleep by then. No one cares. And then the fireworks go off, and then your dog goes crazy, right? So that wakes you up anyway. So whatever. So Happy New Year. Happy New Year. You and I will be reviewing yesterday's NFL slate, Week 17 slate. Maybe show some other stuff today as well. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit the thumbs on your way in the door. Give me that like button. Give me the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell to know when we go live. We got Grinders live in crunch time later today for NBA. So if you're playing the NBA slate, we got the Winter Classic. There's the Showdown NHL. I guess there's one NHL game today. But yesterday was Week 17. With the Week 18 is the chaos week, right? When we don't even know who's playing or not, right? That's going to be completely, there's going to be 8 million people at 3K that you could play, and you just have to guess like all the starters are sitting, and then all these guys are cheap or whatever. So good luck to you this coming week. But a lot of people's best ball teams. Finally, we're done with the best ball screenshots, right? At least for a little bit, right? Then February comes around. Once the season's over, people start drafting, even though who knows what the hell's going on. So that's what I'm thankful for in the new year. Less best ball screenshots. Thank you. It's all over my Twitter. But I see the chat. Feel free to post anything you want in the chat. Good morning. Happy New Year to Joe and Daniel and Icon and what does everyone in the chat, right? Oh, Joe says Travis Kelce cost him $200K in the FanDuel Millie yesterday. Screw Taylor Swift. He was third going to the Chiefs game. Pacheco and Rice lineups jumped past me. Still made 3,400. So okay. So it just the chronological nature of how the games play out shouldn't really affect your emotion. Right? What if the Chiefs game was earlier? You wouldn't have been in that spot. Right? That's how I always put it. You have to say it's like you have no control over any of this. All you're doing is watching it play out chronologically. But imagine just waking up. Imagine you didn't even pay attention to the slate, and you just woke up at the end of the slate and you made 3,400. Would you be happy? Okay, there you go. Doesn't matter. And Joe says he used SimLabs. Yeah, I use SimLabs to research my lineups as well. SimLabs is part of our premium package here. We will have stuff coming out for it for NBA, for MLB. Now we'll be upgrading that. We're constantly working on that. SimLabs, rotogrinders.com/SimLabs if you're a premium member. And if you're not, click on that link in the description. Get $10 off your first month. But yesterday, I had a good day yesterday. Yesterday, I think I won almost 90% of my head-to-heads. About 90% of my head-to-heads. I just played on DraftKings. And I made money in GPP. I mean, it's not like I like $500 in GPP entries, and I got back like 850 or something like that. Because I play mostly, the $100 spies, the $50 red zones, the $27 single entry, the $12 single entry. I play like 10 lineups, the $33 five max, like those kind of 5,000, 2,000 to 5,000 entry fields, like that type of thing. And then I just throw all those lineups in the play action $3 because that contest is really soft. So like whatever happens. I typically end up profiting an ROI over the course of the year, just throwing my lineups into that contest anyway. So yesterday, the main things that I did yesterday, right? Because remember, I adjust my ownership, like how I assess the slate. Yes, from a directional standpoint, the ownership projections here at RotoGrinders are good directionally. But once you start factoring in like human irrationality or how people misuse optimizers or tools like that, you could start making a little bit more adjustments, right? So like my lineups yesterday, like I played 10 lineups. My best lineups were Lamar Jackson lineups. I said that on the Friday show, right? I was looking to who was gonna get squeezed in that let's go. Where am I going? Right, here's the Millie. Who is gonna get squeezed in that quarterback in that 7K range at quarterback? Right at the high end, you got Hurts there, you got Mahomes at 7,500, Lamar Jackson at 7,700. Right, you had Fields there, and then you still had Purdy and Stroud underneath over there, and then you had Josh Allen. Now, Josh Allen is the one that I think got squeezed the most, right? Where's Josh Allen here? Right, down 2%, right? But like, it was gonna happen. I thought people would be more likely to play Brock Purdy, and I think I said on my Saturday stream that I bumped up this ownership for the Texans. A lot of people wanted to play CJ Stroud, Nico Collins, Noah Brown. So from my ownership standpoint, I bumped them up. I didn't play a CJ Stroud lineup. I did play one off Noah Brown. I did play one off Nico Collins. So like just figuring out what the distribution of quarterback ownership and their pass catchers. So like I saw, especially once the thing that did it for me is that once Raheem Mostert got ruled out, right? We got that news the night before, right? That Mostert was going to be inactive. That made Devon Achane like a decent play, right? He projected fairly well. Not like mega well, but well enough to be in consideration, right? So that's why once I do that, I like building game stacks, right? If I can, with all players that have a good projection value. And if I could weave them together, the combinatorial ownership on the entire thing makes it so that I could just kind of plug in whatever the hell I want in the rest of my lineup. So that's kind of what I was trying to do can I play two run backs? Because to me, the easy one is Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers, Isaiah Likely. I had two of those lineups, right? But I like the fact that Achane was 6,700 and Cedric Wilson, you almost had to play. There were a lot of these cheap options. Cedric Wilson, Darius Slayton. Who else was in that cheaper? Wandale was 4K. Or you got up to like Shaheed or Curtis Samuel. Like you most likely are playing some type of cheaper guy in your lineup. If you're building anywhere similarly like this, even playing Zamir White, that I prefer. Can I play them in a correlated way? Now, I did play some Darius Slayton one-offs because I had to play someone in that spot. But it's like, okay, this is a good spot to play Achane and Cedric Wilson together. Because playing Achane and Tyreek Hill together with a $7,700 Jackson and a $4,600 Likely, you can't punt at tight end, made it so you had to punt at defense and also play like two. Like you would have had to play Slayton and Rashid Shaheed or like so two of the chalkier cheap guys. So I'm like, once Mostert was ruled out, it's like, okay, I can play Achane and Wilson together with the Jackson Flowers Likely lineup and then look at the rest of the lineup. I'm pretty much just putting in the best projected players or some of, right? Zamir White, Chris Olave, who obviously didn't get there. Nico Collins, Panthers defense. Done. Lineup done. Easy. You could, yeah, sure. You could change Olave out for Brandon Ayuk. Sure, you could change Nico Collins out. You could move the stuff around all you want, but the core of the lineup is there. But once I get all these five players in, Jackson, Flowers, Likely. I mean, look at the ownership here. 6% ownership on Jackson, 10.9. This is in the play action. So, I mean, there's not global ownership. Isaiah Likely, 9.8%. And then once you cut 10% for Achane and 8% for Wilson, like how many lineups is this? How many lineups am I competing against with this? Not as many as you think once you combine all of them together. So I don't mind taking on a 43% owned Zamir White in this lineup. He's by far the best projected point per dollar play, right? At 5,100, he was the best projected on the slate. Him and I guess McCaffrey, who got hurt. So it's like, okay, here you go. Here's a lineup. I mean, and then I did another lineup. And maybe I need to refresh. Well, I did another lineup with Tyreek Hill as well, but without Achane. So not playing a $6,700 Achane and a $9,300 Tyreek Hill together. So I'm looking for 30 points. I'm looking for 30 plus points. And probably if Achane is getting, 3 touchdowns, Tyreek Hill ain't getting the touchdowns. So I wouldn't have played them together. But that's what I was going into this thinking. So if you're going to play a cheap quarterback, I thought tons of people are going to go to Tyrod, right? And then you can see here, I mean, always understand, okay? I mean, this is for any sport. So it's not just NFL, but NFL in a sport with correlation. NBA may not exist as much, but it still applies to some extent. It's when people use like optimizers and they build lineups together, they're most likely going to be pairing people together. So the more skill position players that project well from my point per dollar value, it's going to raise the ownership of everyone that's involved in that stack. Okay? So like I think we may have had Derek Carr projected ownership-wise at like 3%. I bumped him up. I bumped him up to 6 to 8%. He came in at 7 in the milli at least. But why did that happen? Why? Well, because Olave, take a look at the wide receiver position. Olave, 7. Look, Olave and Shaheed are the first and third highest owned wide receivers on the whole slate. Now, no wide receiver was like absurdly owned, right? No one was over 20%. I also said that on the Friday show, that I didn't expect any wide receiver to be more than 20% owned. But with Olave and Shaheed being projected fairly well, I mean, how do people not plug into Optimizer go, give me stacks, right? They're going to plug in some settings that essentially are, quote, give me stacks. You're going to get a lot of, Olave projects well and Shaheed projects well. You're going to get a lot of stacks, right? That's what you're going to get. And anyone that's involved in that game starts coming up. Just like if people are playing Tyrod Taylor, if people are playing Darius Slayton, what are you going to get? You're going to get a lot more. They're going to be owned way more. Wandale's ownership will go up a bunch. Even at tight end, Darren Waller, I mean, he wasn't like high owned or anything like that, but I mean, Darren Waller was 7% owned in the milli. As opposed to if you go by his projection at 45,500, he projected way worse than Dallas Goedert at 4,800. But Darren Waller was more owned. Why? Because it was easier to pair with Tyrod and Darius Slayton and Wan'Dale Robinson and those types of players, right? When you play like Gerald Everett is just one guy on the Chargers, so it's like Easton Stick's ownership ain't going anywhere because no one's playing Quentin Johnston. No one's playing other guys. No one, Austin Eckler, right? There's also certain players and teams, right? Ezekiel Elliott projected very well. In any projection system you looked at, from a point per dollar standpoint, median, Ezekiel Elliott, I think, was like third on the slate. Right? Zamir White was 1, Christian McCaffrey was 2, and I think Zeke was 3. Now, for raw points, not like high, but for 6K, getting like everything out of that backfield, sure. But people don't like playing him. People don't like clicking that name, right? This is the irrationality of human beings. So our projected ownership on Ezekiel Elliott was like, I think 15-ish%. I bumped him down to 10. Why? Because people don't like clicking that guy. People don't like, people look at their lineups and they go, ugh, I don't play Zeke Elliott, right? Even Pop Douglas. Like we take a look here at Pop Douglas, Demarius Douglas. He came in at 10%. I think most places, I think we projected him for 16 to 18% ownership. Right? Because the Patriots are cheap against the Bills, right? I mean, they got to do something. right? People don't like playing Patriots because they're awful. Right? They look and go, how am I going to win a GPP with Demario Douglas in my lineup? And they don't click on it. The math would say that you should click on it more than 10%, but people don't. People love the fucking Texans receivers, right? Once I saw it, like a Noah Brown. I think we had Noah Brown at like maybe 5 or 6% owned. I just doubled that. Double it. Just double it. He came in at 14.8%. Of course, this is in the milli. Obviously, it may be different in like the SPY. Like we go to like let's say the SPY, the single entry SPY. Right, take a look at the SPY. You're going to get a little bit different here, but I mean directionally it'll be about the same. So here's the SPY. Nico Collins and Chris Olave were both 21% owned. Right, Darius Slayton was more owned, 17%. Shaheed 17. So I mean, look, Olave and Shaheed and Collins and Brown. You would have. I'm going to go over to the quarterback section. I'm going to assume that outside of, and we have, look, here's the 49ers receivers. So you see here, Sam Debo, Ayuk, Brown, Collins, Olave, Shaheed. I'm assuming that Purdy is the number one quarterback, and Slayton's up here. So I'm going to assume you're going to see Purdy, Tyrod, Stroud, and Carl may even be in the top 5. Right? Here, Carr 7. Yeah, I mean, you got Tyrod in 1, Purdy 2, Stroud 3, and then there's a drop. And a whole bunch of people play Jarrett Stidham in single entry. Do I know why? I mean, he bred outside. I mean, he was, if you played a cheap quarterback and you didn't play Tyrod Taylor, you probably played Jarrett Stidham. I prefer Tyrod, but teach there. Who do you pair with the Broncos? I mean, the Broncos are, that was the problem, is that no one else on the Broncos really projected well. They were like meh. They were okay. But at least like Wandale and Darius Slayton projected much better than the Broncos receivers. But see, Derek Carr, 7% owned. So like how to adjust ownership. But this is what my secret sauce is just knowing how people are. I don't program this into anything. I don't. And also, I don't care about the bottom of the barrel. I don't care. Like I go down to like, am I adjusting Tyjae Spears' ownership or Khalil Herbert? No. Derrick Henry. I don't care. Like these are guys I'm not even. They're projected so low that I'm not even considering. That like the difference between like is James Conner. I mean James Conner did well, right? 2%, but like I think projected him for like 4% ownership. Difference between 2 and 4, not that big of a deal to me. I care more about the top end. There's a big difference to me between Zamir White being 32% owned and 61% owned, or McCaffrey being, 26% owned versus 38% owned. Like that type of stuff. Like DeAndre Swift, I had as over-owned. Like DeAndre Swift didn't project poorly. He was in like the top, like I think maybe the 7th point per dollar, 6,500 for the slate. But a lot of people wanted to play him. A lot of people were not able to play Hurts in GPP. So a lot of people played Hurts in cash games. I didn't play Hurts. I played Tyrod in my cash lineup. But it's hard to pair Hurts with anyone. I think I played one Hurts Goddard lineup, but not AJ Brown. And who knows that Julio Jones was going to catch 2 touchdowns. I mean, he's making up for the touchdowns and he didn't catch with the Falcons, I guess. So with that being said, and the Eagles with a pretty high implied team total, people were talking about they want to play DeAndre Swift. 20% on DeAndre Swift. I ain't touching. I didn't play any of them. I played a bunch of the running backs that I played Zamir in GPP. I only played Christian McCaffrey in 2 out of my 10 lineups. It kind of forced you into certain positions. I wanted to play lineups that didn't contain as much of Christian McCaffrey or Tyreek Hill, because it kind of like pigeonholed you into very similar type of constructions as a lot of other people. But I did play Zamir. I think half my lineups had Zamir White. I played Kyron Williams in my cash lineup, as well as I think 3 or 4 out of my 10. Played Achane in 4 of my lineups, right? Because I played those 2 Ravens lineups. Played Jonathan Taylor. I played the Devontae Adams. I played the Colts. I had a Minshew, Pittman, Granson, White, Adams types of lineups. I had like one of one of them. That cash, that got there, right? I didn't play any Etienne. I didn't play any Eckler. I played some Singletary. I played Singletary as leverage. Like Singletary didn't project that much worse than Ezekiel Elliott. And I thought that a lot of people were going to play, a lot more people than people expect were going to play C.J. Stroud, Nico Collins, and Noah Brown, or Dalton Schultz, if you throw him in as well. So I'm like, give me Singletary. Then I really didn't play anyone else. And then we got the news late that Clyde Edwards-Helaire was inactive. And Isaiah Pacheco was $6,800. The problem is that there's only 3 late games. So most likely you weren't able to swap. I mean, to me, the only way that you could swap to Pacheco, I mean, obviously, if you had Chiefs lineups, if you had stuff in the later games, Pittsburgh, Seattle, I mean, they weren't very well owned. To me, like Rashee Rice in the flex, right? Because he was 6,900. You go, okay, I could make this Pacheco. Because he came in at 2% owned because everyone expected CH and Pacheco to both be active. But the Chiefs pretty much just ran with one running back. And they were obviously in a good spot. So 32.5 for Pacheco if you had the late swap. This is how I analyze, slates from a macro standpoint afterwards. Would I have made the lineups I would have made had I known the ownership? And if the answer is yes, that means then what else am I supposed to do? The answer is no. Then I got to work on that. But typically it all comes down to projecting ownership. So I'm not saying anything differently based on the results because the player projections I don't make my own player projections. I use the ones here at RotoGrinders. I use the Blitz. I use aggregate from around the industry. But ownership something that, very hard to do algorithmically. I mean, it's very hard to do just even making adjustments. I'm wrong plenty of times. I'm wrong. Oh, a lot of people are going to play this guy. Oh, okay. He didn't come in as high on as I thought he was going to be. Right? Oh, no one's going to play this guy. It's like, oh, okay, I guess people wanted to click on Josh Jacobs this week or Joe Mixon. Right? I've been wrong on that this year when I'm like, no one likes clicking on Joe Mixon. And then he comes in at like 28% in the large field GPP. And I go, okay, I missed on that. Right? I played Mixon as a low-owned piece, and it turns out he's over-owned. Right? I've done that before. I thought Chris Olave would be lower owned because people are going to play Rashid Shaheed, and it turned out the other way. I didn't think Chris Olave was going to be low owned. I just thought the ownership would be a little bit more swapped, a little bit more. But I did pretty well. I don't know how you guys did. Daniel Hodges says his New Year's DFS resolution is to sweat as little as possible. That sweat in what way? So you're either not playing, or you're so far ahead in first place that you don't even need to worry about. Or you just don't play, or it could be that you play as much DFS, you just don't watch the games, don't care, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it at all. Don't worry about it. Okay, one last thing I wanted to show you. We got the NHL, the Winter Classic today. It's only one NHL game. I showed this on Friday. On Friday's show with Kyle Murray, I made the pitch for our props and pick'em package. Right? You can use our projections here at RotoGrinders to bet on sports. Not enough people do it. Okay? I do. Not enough people do it, and I'm glad that not enough people do it because the numbers are still available and I'm still able to get my money down. But people don't take advantage. I don't know why. You can take advantage of it if you're a premium member or if you just want the props and pick'em package. But I mean, we have here's our NHL DFS projections. You could download this as a CSV. You know what you're doing in Excel. If you build a Python, whatever the hell, you could just download this and do whatever the hell you want with it. Right? So here's all our current projections. It has a timestamp and everything like that. But if you just want to I want to get down based on our projections, like the highest edge bets in any sport. Right? We got NFL, we got NBA, we got PGA, we got whatever. MLB, that'll be back. You can just go to our prop model. It's the top. All it does is show the top 20 based on the edge versus whatever line is available at the books that we that we cover, right? The legalized books, right? So you can go to NFL, and I mean NFL does nothing now because the projections aren't out for next week. NBA, be careful on because these are our current projections. We take a look updated an hour ago. I don't even know who's on the injury report, right? So these are based on whoever is currently in our projections. So always go and see who's questionable because our questionable players are in the projection. So you may see it's like, oh my God, it gets such a big edge. Yeah, because someone from the Pacers is actually going to play and projections don't reflect that yet. NHL is the easiest because not much of that type of stuff changes. Occasionally you get some line changes, a guy's getting scratched. But NHL, I mean, I think the Winter Classic it's at 2:00. I mean, so this is pretty updated, right? There's only one game, so you're not going to find much. So it shows you what stat, what's the line, what's the win percentage of that stat based on our projections. This is the median, right? So we're converting the mean into median and giving you the implied probability difference, which is the edge. So these show an edge on what book. Now, NHL, you're most likely going to be getting the best number on DraftKings. FanDuel, not so much. So what can you do here? I'll show you what I do. Right? I explained this on Friday. I said, well, how do you bet on NHL? So I just use our projections, right? So I go here. Let me log on, right? Because they always log out every 10 minutes or whatever, right? So I'm going to log into DraftKings. So I made the case that I'm making $600 an hour with NHL bets, $600 an hour on average. I mean, you'll see what I mean by an hour because if you extrapolate it out, so here, there's one game here, right? Here you go, right? So I could take this, right? This screen right here. I go, I want to take all of these. Anything with I want to take anything with the positive. Anything. I'm just going to flat bet it, right? Just put $30 each. So I got 13 of these, right? With an edge that it shows right now. Even these small ones, I'll do them anyway. What do I care? The margin of error, depending on your size, your bankroll, and your risk tolerance, maybe you only, if you want to get down $50 on the top three, God, fine, you can do that. Me, I just give me them all. I don't care. I'm flat betting anyway. Right? So I take all of these and then look. I'm going to move. What's going on? My browser's crashing. Okay, no, it's not crashing. Okay, so what I'm going to do, and I'm going to move this to the side. So I have a second screen, so I can just look. Right, so here, I'm going to go to shots on goal. I use that chart. William Karlsson, under 2.5. Under 2.5. Mark Stone, under 2.5. Mark Stone, under 2.5 at -175. Right? We got another Eberle, under 2.5. A lot of times in NHL, you're going to be taking unders, by the way. Yanni Gourde. Oh, McCann over shots. McCann over 2.5. Gourde under 1.5. Gourde under 1.5. Anything else on the shots? No. Okay. So then we go to, how about assists? Assists. Toivonen under. Eli Toivonen under. I mean, these are -260s. I mean, you're not making that much money on these, but whatever. Edge is an edge. Toivonen assists. Wenberg under assists. Right? Wenberg. Beniers under assists. Beniers. Where's Beniers? There you go. And Marshalt over. Done under. Done under. Marshalt over. And then points. Points and blocks. So points, what's on the screen that we have here that has any edge whatsoever? Burakovsky over 0.5 point. Okay, and then we have block shots. Larson over 1.5 and Oleksiak under. That should be what, 13? That should be 13. Yeah, 13. We got it there. $30 a piece. Done. How long did that take? How long did that take? What, 3 minutes? I mean, I was talking during it. You could do this much quicker if you weren't talking during it. There you go. Done. There, my bets are in NHL. Someone asked me, what are my favorite bets in NHL? I'd be like, whatever's on the screen. There you go. Do it. Have fun. Right? Maybe even have a promo. Let's see if I even have a promo here. Is there like a parlay? Did they give me a Winter Classic something? They don't give me much anymore. I win too much. Right? 12 days of DK, profit boost, CFB parlay, CFB, more college football that I haven't used. Goal in first 10. I mean, this is just, I could take this. While I'm here, I might as well just click on it while I'm here. They're giving me it's like for $10. Yeah. Odds boost on over total goals. Yeah. Take advantage of it. Why not? Give it to me. Is there an SG? I mean, you could look. I mean, use your promos. I know they give you a no sweat one. I think for $5. I mean, like I don't get much anymore. Like the daily no sweat SGP type of thing. Then you could go to the SG go, and it's only one game, so like you could use this on this game, right? Same game parlay, right? And you do the same exact thing. You look at the Carlson, Stone, Larson, Toivonen, assists, Eberle, shots, McCann. Right? You could just take the top 3 if you want. Right? I mean, they don't give you much. Okay. Oh, these are popular. Okay. So look at player shots. What are the top? You need 3 of these, right? So Carlson, Stone, and Larson's blocks, right? Carlson, Stone, Larson's blocks. Carlson, under. Stone, under. And we get blocks. Now they don't give you blocks and SGPs anymore. Oh, they may change that. So what else is here? Toivonen assists under, or just Eberle shots under is the next one. We just Eberle shots under, right? Or the McCann shots over, right? Just using this Eberle shots under, and then I have this little bonus. It's for $5. No sweat. So basically, you get a bonus bet back, right, for $5. Right, turns into $18.20. Right, and you take the top 3. All I did was like, what's the top here? Right, I could add to it. We could go balls to the wall. I could add the McCann one. Right, if you want. They're all they show us positive edges, so the more that I add, right, should be fine. I mean, you could do that. Yeah, there you go. Use the bonus, right? Because if this loses, you get a $5 bonus bet. So like that's what it is. Like this is what you could use. I mean, you could use our stuff here at RotoGrinders. You could do this in NFL. You could do this in NBA. We have all the statistical projections. When MLB comes back, we got that. We got PGA. We got everything. You could use our DFS projections on the sports books. The same way you could use it on Prize Picks and Underdog, because we have a pick'em tool for that. Right? So if you want a chart like this, but just for like Prize Picks and Underdog, we have the pick. Where's the pick'em tool? Let me. How do I get there? Props and pick'em new. Right. So you go to the pick'em tool. Here you go. Look at the timestamp, and you have college football, DK's pick 6 NBA, Prize Picks NBA, Underdog NBA, Prize Picks NHL. So you can see here, there's nothing with an edge, right? You can see right here. You can just sort it. Oh, there's one. McCann more than 2 shots is the only one in NHL at least. Underdog, right? There's nothing because it's only one game, so there's not much to look at. So if you don't want to, if you're not betting in volume, right, and you only want to, you want to go to, for NBA Prize Picks, and you go, okay. I mean, I don't know who's in and out, so like these, always be aware that these are based on our current projections, based on the last updated time. So if you're not sure what's happening with the Bucks today, I mean these numbers could obviously change. You could just go like Prize Picks CFB, right? It's college football projections based on the lines that are available on Prize Picks. DK Pick 6. The lines that are available in NBA for that. And we have MLB when that's in season and everything. So this is all based on our projections. So if you want to use our projections to bet on sports or use on the pick'em sites, this is the easiest way to do it. And I don't want you to do it. Why? Because this is what I do. And the more people that do this, the quicker the books react to it. But not enough people do. You know how I can tell? Because the books don't react to it, and I make money doing it. So just piecing two and two together. The fact that I'm still able to get the numbers that I can, even at noon after this show, shows that not enough people do this. So that's why the corporate overlords tell me to tell you about this. This is my sales pitch because this is what I do. This is literally what I do. I'm up a couple of $1,000 in NHL props. Just doing that, just doing exactly what you saw me do. $30 bets. Or just whatever. Some nights on slates where there's like 12 games, I may have 100, 120, 125. You know, I could have $30 bets. I'd have like $4,000 in volume in NHL. And then come out with, I made $375 or something, like that type of thing. Like my ROI is like 6 to 8%, somewhere in that range. 4 to 8, it hovers sometimes 10, something like that. And that's what you do. Just I bang them all out and I'm done. Most of the time I have no idea what happened. I just wake up in the morning and I refresh my picket and it tells me how much money I made or lost yesterday. And that's it. Sloaner asks, does the prop tool tell you what odds they're basing the edge on? Yes, on whatever is currently posted. Right. That's why I said look at the timestamp. But I mean, you could also tell. I mean, really, where am I going? You could tell by the win percentage versus what's up there. So, for instance, let me go props and pick them. So, for instance, here's the props tool. Let's go to NHL. Like, what's the win percentage of like 60? Adam Larson, 60%. Like, this is an easy one. What is 60%? Minus 150, right? It's telling you there's a 5% edge, right? Which means I'm assuming Adam Larson's blocks. We go to this game. Is going to be better than minus 150. Saying it's a minus 150 chance. You go to player props, go to block shots. Where's block shots? Airplay points, assists, block shots. Adam Larson, minus 120. What is minus 120? That's about 55%. Minus 120. So 60% chance. About, right? Was it 60.38? That's minus 150. A 5% edge means that it should be 55%, which is around minus 120. So yeah, so it's based on that, based on exactly that number. William Karlsson, 67%. Right? What's about 67%? That's like minus 210, right? Because minus 200 would be 66%. So 67% minus 210, something like that. Not exact. But it has a 7.19% edge. What is this saying? That the number, it should be minus 210, but the number is minus 150. Because if you subtract 67 from 7, that's 60, which is minus 150. So if you go to Karlsson's shots on goal, I'm assuming Karlsson shots on goal is minus 150 for the under. Karlsson, yeah, under 2.5, minus 150. Our projections say that under 2.5 should be minus 210-ish, 205, minus 250, something around there. Right? So if you wanted to double check, you could just eyeball and just double check that number is still available. But that's what it's based on. And in hockey, in NHL, I could already tell you that 95% of your bets are going to be on DraftKings. Because, yes, other sites do have this, will have a Carlson under 2.5, right? DraftKings has an under 2.5 at minus 150. And like Caesars will have like minus 165. FanDuel may have minus 160. I mean, Bet 365 may have minus 155 or most of the time, DraftKings actually has the best number, the best price. Maybe not the best number. The numbers are going to be the numbers, but the best price typically is on DraftKings. Rarely FanDuel for NHL, but in other sports it's different. NFL props, most of my NFL props are on Bet 365. They tend to have the better prices and the better numbers. They tend to, not always. That's why getting the best price and getting the best number. That's one of the easiest, the keys. You get that concept down of always getting the best price, always getting the best number that you possibly can in the market. That's like 90% of the battle. If you can just do that, you're at like minus 2% right there. Like it's like you're playing perfect basic strategy blackjack. And then from that point, now it's time to count the cards, right? Now it's time to count the cards. But if you can't play perfect basic strategy blackjack, then you're dead because you're already playing at a minus 7, minus 10% negative disadvantage. And it's no matter what you do, you're not going to be able to make that up. So the least that you could do is always get the best number and get the best price. You don't even need to do anything about the sport. I don't know. I don't care. All I have to do is, if I want to bet $600 in props on NHL on a normal day, and I don't want to download projections or anything, I could just literally go to the prop model top 20 here on RotoGrinders and go, okay, I'm just going to take all 20 of these, right? I'm not going to take the negative ones. There's only one game, so you're not going to find 20. I just go, I'm going to take all 20. Doesn't take me more than 3 minutes to do, right? So if you consider that's $600, right? I said this on Friday, $600. Average edge, let's just say 5%. Be conservative, 5%. Right? On $600 worth of volume. That's $30. You go, okay, well, that's not a lot. The expectation is only $30. Yeah, but it only took me 3 minutes to do. Right? Multiply that by 20. Right? That's $600 an hour. Right? I paid $30 in expectation for 3 minutes worth of time. Sounds good to me. I'll take it. If you want to up that, let's say you're putting $50, $60 down each on 20. Why don't you putting $30 down on 100 of them? Right? So you have $3,000 worth of volume. $4,000 worth of volume. What's 5% of 3,000? $150. That takes you longer than 3 minutes. To get 100 bets in, but it doesn't, dude, it doesn't take me, that takes me about 20 minutes. Maybe call it a half an hour at most. For me to get, I could get 100 NHL bets in about a half an hour. At $30 a piece, that's $150 of expectation. If you want to say it's about a 5% edge, that's $300 an hour. $150 for a half an hour worth of work. Give it to me. Is this sexy? No, this is not. This is. I'm just gonna go look at a chart and spreadsheet and just bang them out and not worry about it. Not even gonna watch. I don't even watch the games. I don't know nothing. They're in. They're done. I'm done. Hands off. I'm done for the day. I'm done. I don't need to do anything. Right? I just put in all. I can even watch the Winter Classic. No. It's on at 2:00. I don't care. I'm gonna reload my ticket tomorrow morning and just whatever it shows, it shows. I'm done. I'm not even paying it. I will not even pay attention to this. Right? I won't check at 8:00 at night. I won't check and go, oh, did Carson go under or over? I won't even look. So I'm probably going to put in some college football stuff and some basketball stuff today. It's going to be all mess of stuff, and I don't pay attention to any of it. I just wake up tomorrow and I have a couple $100 extra. Or $100 down. It goes up and down. Do you want to be boring like me? Go click on that link in the description. Get $10 off your first month of a premium combo membership here to RotoGrinders. You get everything. Right? You get all of it. You get Results DB. You get the Lineup HQ. You get all the projections for all the sports. You get all the content, all the premium shows, all the everything. Oh, it's too expensive. It's not expensive enough. I'm telling you, it's not expensive enough. Then you also get access to our Discord, rotogrinders.com/Discord. I have my own channel, Blender's Game Theory. That's the best place to talk to me. Instead of DMing me or emailing me, if you're a RotoGrinders premium member, you get access to that channel. Someone posts in that channel, I'm always there. Right? That's the best place to talk. I've had conversations in there for 6 hours with one person. Doesn't matter. That's the best place to ask me anything. Obviously, on the show, you can always chat in the YouTube box. If you want individualized attention, you could do that. Or you want to learn everything that I know about DFS. Obviously, there's the theory of daily fantasy sports. How to think like a professional DFS player. That's the 15-hour audio DFS masterclass, the fundamentals. Then also theory of DFS for advanced players, which includes 10 more chapters, as well as the custom Excel tools that James has developed that I do use. I did use yesterday for, building lineups, part of my research process. So you get that as well. So you go to theoryofdfs.com, and soon there will be a third. There will be a third edition to this. So you can get all three. Collect them just like Pokemon. Soon there will be a third edition to this that focuses on prop betting, on the pick'em sites, on that type of stuff. Theory of daily fantasy sports for prop betting. So look out for that. Go to theoryofdfs.com, pick that up. Hit that subscribe button if you're new here. Hit that like button on your way out the door. Tomorrow, I think Tim is on tomorrow. We have NHL. Typically Tuesdays, we're going to be doing NHL. So I don't know. It's a new month. It's a new year. I don't know. Where is everyone? I have no idea. I think we're probably doing NHL. There's only one game today, so there has to be tons of games tomorrow. So we'll probably talk NHL tomorrow. We still got week 18. So this week is going to be probably hockey on NHL on Tuesday. Wednesday, week 18 preview. Thursday, is there Thursday night football? I'm not even sure if there is Thursday night football. Maybe we do NHL on Thursday also. I don't know. Is there? I'm not even sure. I don't think there is because there's Saturday games, right? And then Friday, we do the GPP strategy for week 18. And then we start hitting the playoffs. Then we start having more showdown slates. But doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if the NFL regular season is over. I'm still here, right? I'm still here, like I always am. Monday through Friday, 11 o'clock Eastern, talking about all things you're thinking about in daily fantasy, props, and pick'em on RotoGrinders today.